Hello, everyone, and welcome to the B2B Lead Generation Masterclass. Who am I? My name is Nicholas. I'm the head of the Growth Academy. I'm very much obsessed with everything growth. Last year, I ran the B2B growth department at Growforce. Last year, we did over 100 different B2B projects, done so many different lead generation campaigns. And today, I want to summarize a bit the learnings that we gathered and a bit the process that we followed to actually generate tons and tons of leads for our clients. If you want to connect with me, feel free to just do so on LinkedIn. I share a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. So please connect with me. If you have questions, you also feel free to send me an email. I'm very responsive to emails as well. So today I prepared a couple of steps. So we're going to go through the different steps on how to actually achieve this, how to actually achieve B2B lead generation. And it's not that you can just start a campaign and just pray and hope that it will all work out. There are a couple of steps that we need to do to prepare ourselves to be successful in B2B lead generation. Therefore, I just split it up into different steps. We're going to walk through them together, and I'm going to make sure that you guys understand how to do this, and I will also tell you what the next steps are. If at any point during the webinar there are questions, feel free to just drop them here in the chat. I have the chat open in another screen, so feel free to just drop your questions, and then I will dive into your questions. So the first step, if you want to do B2B lead generation, we need to prepare our LinkedIn profile. Why is that? Well, LinkedIn is the most used B2B network at the moment. There's so many attention right there. There are more than 700 million different profiles on LinkedIn. And I always compare it to having the biggest database of decision makers in the world, just freely accessible, and that's LinkedIn. But a lot of people, they just use LinkedIn as an online CV. They love to talk about their sales, they love to talk about how good they are, which certificates they gathered, and so on. But you need to look at LinkedIn as a way to do sales, as a way to market your company. It's really a lead generation tool. The way you need to look at it is that your LinkedIn profile actually becomes a personal landing page. So what you need to do on a landing page, you need to convince people of the value that you're giving. So you need to make sure that everything on your LinkedIn page is optimized for informing people about what you can do, and then also conversion. And not just your LinkedIn page, not only the page of you as a salesperson or a marketeer, but everyone who has a customer-facing role, customer success, product management, whatever, they need to optimize their profile as well, because they will be the people that will come in contact with end users. But you as a person setting up this lead generation, super important to really optimize your LinkedIn profile. And to do that, we prepared a little checklist. During this webinar, I'm not going to dive deeper into every aspect of this checklist. If you want to know everything behind this checklist, we have 4-week courses, 6-week courses about growth marketing, about lead generation, where we dive deeper in these topics. But today, I just want to briefly skim over it, because these are the most important things that you need to know. First of all, you need to be a LinkedIn All-Star. LinkedIn All-Star means that you have everything set up on your profile. LinkedIn actually told us that people that have an All-Star profile are 10 times more likely to be connected than people without an All-Star profile. So very important that you first achieve that All-Star status. If you aren't, then LinkedIn will tell you which steps you need to do. Second, to have that catchy headline. Don't just say business development at Uptrust. Tell people we help you grow your company with innovative marketing tactics or data-proven marketing tactics. So try to give your value in that immediate headline, so that the headline is what I'm talking about right here. Obsessed with growth marketing, we can help with growth spring coaching or growth spots and academy. Show them who you are, show them what you can do to them, because you really want to trigger them. I always tell people marketing is a battle for attention. So this headline is one of the weapons that we have to convince people of why we're relevant for them. Make sure to have 500 plus connections. This is an unwritten rule in the world of LinkedIn, that people only take you serious when you have 500 plus connections. If you don't have 500 plus connections, people are less likely to connect with you. And on the other hand, another positive thing about this is that the broader your network, the more people that will see your content. So it's important, once you have that 500 plus people, if they start engaging with your content, their network will get notified. Reaching people in that second degree, their network will get notified. So the bigger your first degree connections, the bigger your own network, the more impact that you can make on LinkedIn. Professionally looking profile picture, you would be amazed with how many people that I see that have a picture taken somewhere at a wedding where they already had 3 or 4 cavas in. So it doesn't look that professional. Try to make sure that the image that you wanna have on LinkedIn, that it's actually reflected in your profile picture as well. Claiming your URL, having a claim link, set your profile to public, important as well, because otherwise only your connections or up to 30 degree can see your profile, and you want to make sure that everyone can see what you're actually doing and what you're offering. Featured blogs, that's something relatively new, allowing people to immediately click through. If we're thinking about a landing page or website, first thing that marketers think about is, where shall I put my buttons? Where shall I put my call to actions? What about my form? But when you think about your LinkedIn, you don't do that. You just write about yourself on a LinkedIn page. But these featured blogs, they allow you to add call to actions, to add social proof elements, to make sure that people see a bit what you can do. And if they're ready to buy from you, that they can click through to your website and do the conversion. The About section is the exact same story. The About section, people always use this to just write about themselves. Like talk about, like, I have these kind of diplomas, I worked here, I have this amount of experience. Great for you, that's amazing. But if I'm reading that, then something triggered me. I might be interested in you, but I'm not interested in what you studied. I want to see how you can add value to me or how you be relevant for my company. So use the About section on your profile as well to talk about what you can do for them. Company description, same thing, same mistake. People talk about, yeah, we have 17 buildings, 5 cars, 7 garages. Good for you, but I don't care. Use that space in your company profile to talk about what is unique about your company, what is the value that you can offer. So if you go through this checklist, these are all the things that we think you should do before you do any other B2B lead generation tactics. We need to have that solid base, we need to have that profile ready, and then we're going to build on top of that. So if you're done with that, so you prepared your own LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile is completely ready for lead generation, then it's time to find your target audience. You're going to check out, where do they spend time online? Where can I find them? Who are they? So we need to find out, how can I define them? And this is a framework that we often use. When we think about who we want to target, we often go to these 4 phases. We first start with collecting data. We try to collect as much knowledge as possible about our users. And with our users, I mean maybe our best paying customers, that we're going to interview them. I'm going to ask sales, I'm going to ask customer success, to make sure that I can see some patterns. I can see what do they have in common, which kind of companies are they, which kind of profiles are they. I'm gonna gather as much data as possible. Your CRM is also a very good place to gather all this data. Look at, check where they spend time online. What we're then going to do is form an hypothesis. I think our target audience, they have this in common, this kind of companies, this kind of company size. We make a couple of personas. I don't want you to create 4, 5, 6 personas. That's really not feasible. I just want you to start with 1 or 2 personas, and these are the people that you're going to push your content towards, you're going to do your lead generation efforts towards. Then you describe them in a way that just fits on an A4 paper. This is actually my target audience. This is what they have in common, and this is what they are. What's so special about them. Once we have this fixed, we're going to use LinkedIn to find them online. Going to use LinkedIn search to find our target audience. And the nice thing is, with the free LinkedIn, you can actually already do quite a bit of things. You can just look for self-employed people in Antwerp here, for example. If that is your target audience, just type this in, click Antwerp area, and then LinkedIn search will already give you a very good overview of people that are self-employed in the Antwerp area, if they put that word self-employed on their LinkedIn profile. Cool thing is that you can also use these Boolean operator, it calls. This is if you want to combine multiple search terms. For example, you're looking for people that are in marketing or in sales, so it doesn't matter which of these two. Then you can change here in the search and tell it marketing or sales. Important, the or has to be all capitals, marketing or sales. And if you then want to make sure that they're also a vice president or director, again, you use these or sectors, these or keywords, but then you tie them together with the keyword and. So then you're finding people that in marketing or sales and or vice president or director or manager or whatever. So by using these operators in the search right here, you can make a much more segmented audience of people that you might want to reach out to, people that you might want to try to convert. Downside is, of course, that it's still rather limited. The free search opportunities that you have in LinkedIn, they're super limited to these things that you see right here. And of course, if you're limited in the way that you can segment your audience, yeah, it's not so good, because then you will not maybe reach the right people. You will not be able to make a segmentation that fits your persona that we built in the previous step. So we need some more options to do a qualitative segmentation. The nice thing is that LinkedIn has that option. It's a paid option. I'm sorry for that, but there's a paid option called Sales Navigator where we can do advanced search. The nice thing is we also have unlimited browsing up to third degree, means that we can find people online, we can find people on LinkedIn who are not in our network yet, but that are in our third degree. So they're not the connections of our connections, but the connections of my connections. So we can find a lot of people on LinkedIn, and we have the best possible search filters to then determine these are actually the people that are relevant for us. These are the people that fit our target audience criteria. And these are some examples of filters that you have in the Sales Navigator. And if in the first step you made your persona well, you made your targeting pretty fine, then it's easy to translate those ideas of this is who my target audience is to actually a LinkedIn Sales Navigator segmentation, to fill in the function titles, job titles, seniority, make these filters as close as possible to your persona, and then you will use the biggest B2B decision makers database out there, put your segmentation on there, put your filters on there, and come up with a list of highly qualified leads. This is an example that we did for a client. They were searching for these kind of profiles in France, in small companies. We did this segmentation. We used just the geography filter, company head count, and some titles, and then we got more than 1,000 leads that fit our criteria. And the beautiful thing was that these people were really perfect within their target audience. They wanted to reach out to these interior architects, and they wanted to have conversations with them. And we found actually the best possible way to segment them and have them here in our audience. Nice thing is that in Sales Navigator, you have some super interesting additional filters, because these are rather basic things that you can do. Will already help you tremendously, because it will give you a lot of valuable leads that you can gather. But the cool thing is that you can also say here is that they have to have posted certain keywords in the past, that they created LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn content with this specific keyword. So then if you put in design here, you see Katerina, she posted on LinkedIn this article, and then you can immediately click through to the article, reply on the article, use that article in your outreach. Then if you contact Katerina, you can tell her, hey, Katerina, I saw your article about architecture. Super interesting. I think we have some same kind of views on where the future needs to go towards. What do you think about having a quick talk about it? It's a good icebreaker, a good way to then start your conversation with her. Also, another thing that you can do is when you do geography. Normally, if you do geography, it's where those people are located. But now, of course, with all remote working, that's been more and more common. You can also select company headquarters, so that you know that I want to reach out to people that have their company headquarters in France or Paris or wherever that you might want to have. Another cool options is connections off, that you can, if you're connected with someone already that was a good client of yours, and you can just use Sales Navigator and say, yeah, I want to find all the connections of Emily that are also interested in this, and this, and then they will give you the results. And if you then reach out to people, then you can tell them, hey, I saw you're also connected to Emily. We actually did a very cool project for her company. We did this. She mentioned that this also might be relevant to you, or I think this might also be relevant to you. Do you have time for a quick 15-minute chat? Again, beautiful icebreaker, because you have something in common. You know someone, and you can use that. Same thing with groups. You can search within LinkedIn groups, and then these were also very interesting filters. So you can also see the people that changed their jobs in the past 90 days. These are also interesting people. If you're, for example, wanting to target managers or maybe a bit more up there, then people that just changed in a new management position, they tend to want to start to do things differently. They want to put their own mark on the organization, and these people are very likely to wanting to listen to what you have to say. So these are, if I do something and I have to prioritize people to reach out to, I usually first go towards this group of people that just change jobs, because they still have the energy, they still want to do a lot of new things. So they're very likely to listen what you need to say. Then another thing, the posted on LinkedIn in past 30 days, also a very interesting group. If you just want to limit your outreach, limit your conversations to LinkedIn, because they are very active on LinkedIn. The other group might have just made a LinkedIn profile, are not very active on there. So then with this group, you will get tons and tons of more response. Another thing that I want to say is that if you find someone that fits your criteria perfectly, you can also click here on the three dots, view similar, and then you will find people that are very similar to this person, very similar characteristics, very similar kind of leads. So then you can then also find those and actually reach out to them. If you find leads and you just want to keep the conversation on LinkedIn, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. You can just click on the three dots, do message, and then what you will do is that you will use an in-mail message. In-mail message are not free. Every month you get some free credits within your Sales Navigator subscription. But of course, if it's out, you need to buy extra credits. What I often tend to do if I find a lot of interesting people is that I just send them a connection request on LinkedIn and I include a message. So you can include a short message, I think 300 characters. You can include that and then reach out to them, and it doesn't cost you an in-mail credit. Just a small tip that I can give you there. So now step one, we optimized our own LinkedIn profile. So our LinkedIn profile is optimized for sales and marketing. Step two, we now know how to find our target audience. We have outlined them in a proper way. We listen to our salespeople, we listen to our customer success people, we gathered all the insights, we translated those insights into a beautiful LinkedIn sales audience, LinkedIn Sales Navigator audience. And then now we want to maybe start reaching out. But what I can advise you is to think about something valuable that you can give them. Nobody likes to being sold to immediately. I always compare this to going to a bar and seeing a nice girl there and asking her to marry you immediately. This doesn't work. You first need to go on dates, make sure that she thinks you're interesting. I'm talking about my case, of course, that she thinks I'm interesting, and maybe then at some point I can ask her to marry me. So what I need to do first is make sure that that girl or that person thinks that I'm interesting. I need to give something first. I need to give some value first. And what we use to do that are called lead magnets. We're giving them value in exchange for a phone number, for example. These are some of the examples that we've been using a lot at different of our clients. I really love using these, mixing them. Webinars is one of my favorites. We're in one of these webinars fun today. So think about these ones, read these ones again after when you watch the recording again, and then check out like, okay, which ones of these are actually feasible for me, which one I experiment with, because it's so much more valuable if you can reach out to someone and instead of asking him or her to buy something from you, you're telling them, hey, I want to invite you to our webinar because I think it's relevant for you. We're going to share some insights of things we've done for competitors. If they would send that to me, I would be so interested and I would immediately join that webinar. So think about ways to make sure that your audience outreach is valuable and that it's not just spamming or asking for something before you give something. These are some examples of things that we've done. So I've done this webinar together with NodalView. And the nice thing is that NodalView, they make software for companies in the real estate industry. We don't make the software, but we can help those companies to be efficient in marketing using the software that they sell. So it was very nice to then organize something together. We addressed our audience, they addressed their audience, we did some marketing together. And in total, we had 600 people that were registered for the webinar. And of those 600 people, 10% converted to a call with me. So that's 60 calls at the end. So that was super interesting for me. We did 100% educational webinar. That's also what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk a lot just about valuable stuff, insights that we gathered, making it easy for you guys to understand. And then from that educational webinar, only at the end, I will introduce my product and offer. So I could already now start pitching my Growth Academy and how amazing it is to learn everything that we do here and everything we do within Uptrust. But I'm not doing that. I'm first wanting to give you a lot of value, and then only at the end, I will introduce my offer to try to convert you to the next phase. Free courses are also something interesting to do. What we did here is our free course, Essential Group Marketing Essentials. Up till today, I have more than 2,500 students, more than 2,500 people that actually enrolled for the free course, that are following the free course. And of course, once they enroll, I get a lot of their information. I get their name, email address, phone numbers, and so on. So I can then try to push them towards my paid courses. So think about it, that's also something interesting. This is for another company that we worked with, the Retail Factory. They contacted us during the first lockdown, and they wanted to meet, actually have a lot of new conversations with people that with stores, because they sell hardware to measure people walking by stores, walking inside stores, and how they actually behave. So we had a sprint meeting. Someone had the idea, yeah, what if we make a little tool for people so that they can generate their own Corona poster? So it's completely super value driven. We didn't ask any money for that. So they just give us their logo, they give the contact details, they give us the measures that need to be in the store, and then we send them a PDF. On this landing page, this specific web page for this campaign, we also like, why would you do this? We generate some trust here because we did the opening for Veritas already, and then we talk about who we are. For this landing page to push traffic, of course, we did a lot of these outreach channels. So we made those audiences in Sales Navigator. We sent emails to the people that were interesting. We sent LinkedIn messages to the people that were fitting our criteria. But I also put some paid channels behind it. I also put some Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads behind it, pushed them towards this specific page, asked for company name, contact information, amount of people allowed in the store, so that the salespeople could also optimize it. Of course, this info was needed on the poster, but it would also help us to prioritize which leads to follow up first. In the end, we had more than 400 leads, and then sales could just pick up the phone, call them, tell them, hey, I just wanted to check in. Did you receive your poster? All right, great. How is it going with your store? How is the reopening going? Do you already have ideas on how you're going to measure your amount of people that are in the store? No? Okay, we can actually help you with that. So it was a very cool way to open doors, to break the ice, to enter that company and then have a meaningful conversation instead of immediately trying to sell. All right. So at this point, we have something valuable. We either have like a catalog, we maybe have some use cases, we maybe have a little quiz, a webinar, a cheat sheet, whatever we can have to give those people. But now if we want to give it to people, we need to get their information. If I want to send them an email like I did in this case, I need their email address. I need to find their email address before I can actually reach out to them. So in this step 4, I'm going to get the leads information. I want to have their email address and I want to be able to reach out to them and send them this valuable stuff to then push them towards the next meeting. The tool that I use to extract that is Scrap.io. Scrap.io is, it has a free version, but I'm using the paid version here. With the free version, you have 50 emails per month for free. What I do here is that I make a beautiful segmentation in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, like you see here. And then I can just tell them, okay, extract now 20 pages. They will extract the people and they will also look for email addresses. So I don't have to do anything manually. They just will automatically look for the email addresses, give me then a list of all those people and their email addresses, which I can then use in my further outreach. You will see that they find around 60 or 70% of the mail addresses. And what I then do is that the rest of the people I send to one of my freelancers that I have on Upwork. And then those guys, I pay around 5 cents per email address. And then I have a beautiful list of so many relevant people. I made my segmentation and I have their mail addresses so I can send them an email and give them something valuable. That brings us to the next step. Because if we now gather their email addresses of our ideal audience, we have something to give them, then it's time to reach out. We need to send them the information. We need to try to get them towards meetings. We need to push them into our funnel. So it's then time to reach out. And I'm now actually going to share you my secret sauce. This is the exact flow that I've done last year around 100 times, which was successful in 95% of the cases. And I'm going to explain you what we did there. I'm also going to show you some results to prove to you that it's not just a one-time thing. This is actually the exact strategy that we use to be successful for our clients. So the strategy consists of three different phases, and I went a bit slower in the first parts to make sure that you get all the basics right. So it all starts here with the preparation of preparing your LinkedIn profile. So if it's not optimized, you will not be able to sell to people. So the LinkedIn profile optimization is done. The Sales Navigator target audience we also talked about is done. And what we will then do is that to this exact audience, we will push some LinkedIn awareness ads. This is the only time that you will hear me say to buy awareness ads. For awareness ads, we're just going for impressions. But my goal is here that the people that I want to sell to, they don't want to immediately they buy from me. They need to have multiple touch points to be convinced that actually the thing that I'm offering is relevant for them and that they might want to buy it from me. So what I do is that for 1 week, I really bombard them with awareness ads. Single image ad, a video ad, and a carousel ad to make sure that they see my brand, they see my value proposition. I'm not interested in clicks at this moment. I'm just interested in impressions. They need to see my brand, my tagline, and know what I'm all about. What I will then do is that I will automate an action on LinkedIn where I will follow them. Because on LinkedIn, you're very much limited to 100 connection requests that you can send per week. So what we do with the follow is that we just can have 50, 60 per day. We follow them, they get a notification, they see me, they see my optimized profile, they check me out, and they will remember me. A day after I send the follow, a day after I follow them on LinkedIn, I will send them a first email. And that first email, if they don't reply, I will send them a second email, don't reply, a third email, don't reply, a fourth email. If they check my profile again, so that I follow them, they come to my profile, I send them a connection request on LinkedIn. By the way, this entire flow is completely automated. So I sent them a connection request on LinkedIn, and I can tell them here, hey, I already sent you an email. It was about this. I think it might be super relevant for you, but I just wanted to ping you here on LinkedIn as well. If they see my email, they open it but don't reply, they come in the state of connection request. If they click but don't reply, I will call them. Because these are the people that actually showed interest in what I have to say, but I wasn't convincing them enough in my email. There was something there, something triggered them to click, but it was not enough for a conversion at that point, and a conversion being a reply. So then they go into my bucket of being called. So these people are these people I call. All of this I support with a layer of Albacross. Albacross allows me to see which companies are visiting my website without actually leaving their information. So if I see that from a certain company, suddenly 3, 4, 5 people are visiting my website, then it means someone from that company got my email, they talked about it internally, they're discussing it, they're checking my website, and then I know as a salesperson, I should actually reach out to these people, I should do something with them, call them, and try to work on that. So this is my ultimate B2B outreach flow. The moment it might look a bit complex, if you follow our B2B lead generation course, you will learn how to do all of this. But I guess a lot of you are already very familiar with some of these elements and are able to puzzle these together. I will show you some cases and exact email copy that I used for clients, and I will show you the numbers of how many conversions they got, how good it worked for them. So the first case here is from a B2B software company. They're a software that makes they make software for transport companies. And this is something that I always very much love. The more segmented your audience, the better you did step 1 of aligning step 2 of aligning your target audience, knowing this is the people that I want to sell to, the more effective your campaign will be. So they make software for transport companies, very niche down, love it. Word of mouth is their strongest marketing channel. If someone tells this to me, then I know, all right, I can do something for them. They have so good product market fit. They have people that are much fan of the things that they're selling, the products that they make, and then they just are so happy that they talk to each other about it. Then I'm like, okay, great, I can do something. Outreach, very manual and time intensive, so it takes them a lot of time to reach out to new people. They want to have more leads for sales to follow up. They want to have meetings automatically scheduled in the calendar to have an increased amount of customers. And I think this is something that most B2B businesses really like, to have a process in place that does exactly this. And what we did there was that ultimate B2B outreach program. This is the exact email that we've sent. I know some people here don't speak Dutch, so I'm going to translate it on the fly. And I'm also going to explain you the logic behind it. By the way, we also explain this logic and other templates in our courses, but I will just explain now the different ones that I'm going to show here in the cases. So the subject line just was something for company name. So it then says something for Uptrust, something for Coca-Cola. So if I get that email and it says like something for Uptrust question mark, I will check it out and see if it's actually something for me. The only goal of my subject line is to get people to open my email. That's the only thing. They will have so many emails coming in every day, and then in a split second, they need to decide which ones they'll read and which ones they'll ignore. So I need to make sure that I'm in that bucket of emails that they will actually read. Then all the blue things that you will see in here, they're automatically filled in based on the information that we gathered, based on those 1,000 or 500 leads that we segmented in Sales Navigator. So their first name, and then in the first paragraph, I'm explaining them, why am I contacting you today? Since we're already helping similar companies like your company, it looked very interesting to contact you. I also already sent you a connection request on LinkedIn. So I love to refer back to a prior interaction so that they know, yeah, I've researched you, this is actually me, I've done this before. So make it more human, make it like something that a real salesperson would do. And then in 2 sentences here, I pitch what I am and what the benefits are. We make this kind of software for companies who do this and that, so they save a lot of blah, 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 and they can easily track live. And then here I introduce my value. I created something that I want to share. I created use cases from my competitors, or use cases that I've done for their competitors. So I said, like, look, I would love to show you some cases from potential competitors because I think that the results might be relevant for you and company name, so their company. Then here comes my call to action. Let me know, then we schedule a short 15-minute call. And this 50 minutes is very important because it then shows like, oh, it's not just a big time investment. If I go to the second floor, make me a coffee, come back, it's also 15 minutes. So 50 minutes mentally, it's not a big commitment. Kind regards, and then the signature. So this is the email. On first sight, it looks super easy, but there's actually a lot of strategy behind it, a lot of different things that we did to make it in such a successful email. These were the results. So we sent out 311 emails. We had a 65% open rate, which is very high. If there are other marketers here in the call, they will know that 25% is a bit the average. So we really did a very good job here. 11% clicked, and a click was only possible in the email signature, and 50% actually replied to that email. More importantly is that every day there was one extra demo call scheduled thanks to this campaign. So sales was super happy. They had so many more demos that they could do. So what we did then is that we scaled the experiment. That's something we do typically in growth marketing. Something is successful, we'll scale it and we'll try to reach more people. So we scaled this to 1,000 people. And then at that point, the sales team had to ask us to pause it. Because they said like, yeah, we cannot easily follow up with all the leads anymore. It takes us more than 24 hours to follow up. And I told them beforehand, if that happens, let me know, I will pause the campaign. So we paused the campaign, sales made sure that they were processing all the leads. We launched the campaign again, but did it very, very slowly. So huge success, but make sure that the success is not generating leads that are not being followed up with by your sales team within 24 hours, because then you're just throwing away leads. Second case, a company that makes B2B furniture. So they make and sell furniture, rep-driven sales organization. They had an issue because all fairs were canceled due to COVID. So they look for other ways to promote their offering. What they want is to generate more awareness around the brand, more warm sales conversations to then eventually close new partnerships. And this is the exact email that we use for them. First name, we're very impressed by your approach towards interior design. We both share a passion for blah, blah, blah. And what we did here is we introduced the brand and we also give them we want to send them their printed catalogs. So we give them something for free. We don't tell them, look, I want to sell you our furniture. I want to give you this. No, I will just here, I want to tell you who we are. I think what you're doing is great. I'm stroking their ego a bit. And then my ask is, let me know if I can send your printed catalog. If then the lead replies, it's a very strong conversation because he asked something from you that you will send him something. So you will reach out, ask for their information, call them, send it over, reach out afterwards again if they got it, ask what they think about it. And it's really a nice start of that relationship. And if you can scale this with the process that we set out, it's so powerful. Here you can see some of the ad results to just explain you that the ads are not that expensive. I will take the most expensive one, right? Like here, this one, I paid 146 euros to get 4,000 impressions. But if I want to get 4,000 impressions, so that 4,000 times my ad is shown in a magazine or a fair, it would cost me so much more money than what I paid right here. And I'm not really focused on my clicks, even though I have a very beautiful click-through rate. My goal is here to make sure that a lot of people see it, because the people that see it, those are the exact people that will get my messaging afterwards. Here you see the results of them, beautiful open rates. Again, the open rates are actually insane. Very nice reply rate right here, leading to tons and tons of conversations. And what actually also happens is that you also play this on LinkedIn. So you send a lot of connection requests and your audience on LinkedIn grows. And by doing this, you're actually also passively knowing your target audience. Even though they're not ready to buy from you today, if they're connected, you're showing a lot of content every day or every week, they will nurture your audience. You will show them all the beautiful cases, that beautiful things you've done. And if they then need furniture, they will start talking to you and will do business with you. Then the last case that I want to show is a case from B2B consultancy. They give legal advice about the wage policies that you have with your employees. They have a very high percentage of customers who want to stay. So that's a very strong signal that their service is super good. And again, their word of mouth is strong. What they want is that they want to fill on-demand webinars. The quality of leads is more important than the quantity of leads. And they want to reach decision makers at big companies. And this is the mail that they've sent. So we first say, you may have noticed that I checked out your LinkedIn profile, but I also wanted to send you an old-fashioned email, like a real salesperson would do, and we really checked his profile and so on. And then here we tell them, look, we're organizing free webinars. I already listed a few topics for you that could be interesting, but if you have something else, let me know. You can book your webinar on demand here. So again, lead magnet, value given, we introduce them towards a webinar. And these were the results that they gathered. So you have here sent, open, click, replies. You can see actually what happens. You see we also are not sending emails in the weekends. But what we saw is that every day we have plus minus 15 replies. And this is so valuable because he's trying to build up his business. He's trying to generate more awareness. And in the end, people that don't want to come to his webinars, but see the content that he's talking about, see the webinars that he's organizing, is also valuable for him. Because if these people then ask questions about these topics, maybe they're also struggling with these things. He has so many new meaningful connections, meaningful conversations that were started thanks to this super cool outreach campaign. These are some other results, again, to just show you that this strategy that I'm sharing with you today is not just a one-hit wonder. We've done it so many times with very similar results, and you can actually do it yourself as well.